Major breaking news has dominated American media and political discourse following a dramatic early morning broadcast that claimed Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro was captured during a large-scale U.S. military operation carried out overnight. The report emerged during a live episode of Fox and Friends Weekend, airing at approximately 9 a.m. Eastern Time, as anchors announced what they described as a historic and unprecedented operation, confirmed by the President of the United States himself. According to the broadcast, U.S. forces executed a highly coordinated military maneuver inside Venezuela under conditions of complete darkness, involving multiple aircraft, helicopters, and specialized ground units, culminating in the apprehension of Maduro at a fortified location described as a virtual fortress. The announcement immediately sent shockwaves across Washington, international capitals, and global financial markets as questions arose over legality, escalation risks, and the future of Venezuela's political leadership. President Donald Trump joined the program by phone from Mar-a-Lago, offering a detailed moment-by-moment account of the operation, as he said he witnessed it in real time from a secure room surrounded by senior military officials and generals. Trump characterized the mission as one of the most complex and precise military actions ever undertaken by the United States, emphasizing the speed, coordination, and discipline of American forces. He described the operation as so exact and rehearsed that it unfolded, in his words, like watching a television show, but with real-world consequences. According to the president, no other military on Earth possessed the capability to conduct such an operation under those conditions, citing the integration of fighter jets, helicopters, air support, and ground teams operating simultaneously across multiple objectives. The broadcast further reported that Attorney General Pam Bondi confirmed that Nicolás Maduro and his wife face serious criminal charges in the United States related to drug trafficking, weapons smuggling, and narco-terrorism. Vice President J.D. Vance was also cited as saying that the administration had offered Maduro multiple opportunities to surrender peacefully prior to the operation, referred to as off-ramps, which were ultimately rejected. Trump confirmed that he personally communicated with Maduro in the days leading up to the operation, urging him to step down and surrender, but stated that negotiations failed and time had run out. The president framed the decision as unavoidable, arguing that continued inaction would result in the loss of hundreds of thousands of American lives due to drug trafficking and fentanyl distribution linked to Venezuelan criminal networks. Throughout the interview, Trump repeatedly emphasized that the mission resulted in no American fatalities and only minor injuries, describing this outcome as extraordinary given the intensity and danger of the operation. He claimed that U.S. forces breached reinforced steel doors and security barriers designed specifically to withstand military assault, neutralizing resistance within seconds. According to his account, Maduro attempted to reach a hardened safe area within the compound, but was overtaken before he could secure himself inside. Trump noted that U.S. forces were prepared with heavy equipment to breach any remaining defenses, but the speed of the operation made further force unnecessary. The discussion expanded beyond the operation itself to broader strategic implications. Trump and the show's hosts framed the mission as a powerful message to global adversaries, including China, Iran, and Russia, asserting that the United States had re-established military deterrence after what they described as years of weakness under the previous administration. Trump contrasted the operation with the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, which he labeled a national humiliation, and argued that America is once again respected on the global stage. He also referenced prior military actions during his presidency, including operations against ISIS leadership and strikes on Iranian targets, portraying the Maduro operation as part of a broader doctrine of decisive action. A significant portion of the broadcast focused on drug trafficking and border security, with Trump asserting that maritime drug smuggling has been reduced by as much as 97% due to aggressive enforcement and military pressure. He argued that Venezuela played a central role in funneling drugs, criminal gangs, and individuals from prisons and mental institutions into the United States, calling those actions unforgivable. According to Trump, the scale of drug-related deaths in the U.S. now rivals casualties from major wars, a comparison he used to justify extraordinary measures. He claimed that every intercepted drug vessel saves tens of thousands of lives, framing the operation as humanitarian rather than aggressive. Political reaction was immediate and deeply divided. During the broadcast, hosts cited criticism from Democratic lawmakers, including claims that the president acted without congressional authorization and violated constitutional limits on executive power. Trump dismissed those criticisms as politically motivated, labeling his opponents weak and accusing them of prioritizing procedural objections over saving American lives. He argued that if he had not been re-elected, the United States would be facing economic collapse, uncontrolled inflation, and irreversible decline. Trump pointed to claimed economic improvements, including lower fuel prices and large-scale investment commitments, as evidence that his leadership restored national strength. The program also explored what comes next for Venezuela. Trump stated that the United States could not allow a simple transfer of power to another corrupt figure, and indicated that Washington would be heavily involved in shaping the country's future governance. He suggested that many Venezuelans welcomed the operation, citing reports of people waving American flags in the streets, and argued that Maduro had little remaining loyalty within the country. However, Trump stopped short of naming a specific successor, saying decisions were still being evaluated to prevent chaos or a resurgence of narco-terrorism. Oil and energy emerged as another central theme. Trump acknowledged Venezuela's vast oil reserves and stated that U.S. energy companies would likely play a significant role in stabilizing and managing the sector moving forward. He emphasized that the United States possesses the world's most advanced energy infrastructure and suggested that American involvement would prevent hostile powers from exploiting Venezuelan resources. He also confirmed that U.S. forces were prepared for a second wave of military action if necessary, stating an armada had been positioned and ready but ultimately not required due to the mission's success. International reaction remained uncertain at the time of the broadcast. Hosts raised questions about China's involvement, noting reports that a Chinese delegation met with Maduro shortly before the operation. Trump downplayed the issue, claiming he maintains a strong relationship with Chinese leadership and did not anticipate major fallout. He argued that while oil access would continue for global markets, the United States could not risk undoing the operation's gains by allowing hostile actors to fill the power vacuum. As the interview concluded, Trump acknowledged concerns about prolonged U.S. military involvement, but insisted that the operation was designed to reduce violence, not expand it. He framed the mission as a decisive strike meant to end years of instability, drug trafficking, and corruption tied to Venezuela's leadership. According to Trump, the choice was between continued loss of American lives or decisive action, and he argued that history would judge the operation as necessary. By the end of the broadcast, it was clear that the claims surrounding Maduro's capture had ignited one of the most intense political and geopolitical debates in recent memory. Supporters hailed the operation as a bold restoration of American power, while critics warned of dangerous precedents and international consequences. As the administration prepared for a formal news conference later in the day, questions remained unanswered about legal authority, international response, and the long-term future of Venezuela. What was certain, however, was that the story had already reshaped the global news cycle and would continue to dominate political discourse in the days and weeks ahead.